This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which airs live every Tuesday evening from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Big Papa Smokers. Big Papa is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, and everything that you need to make a world-class pit out of a 55-gallon drum. Visit them at BigPapaSmokers.com. And by the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices and pits as well. You can visit them at thebbqguru.com. And by Cook Shack, a leader in pellet and electric style cookers. Visit them for specials online at cookshack.com or call them at 800-423-0698. And by Sucklebusters. Sucklebusters products are preferred by competition barbecue cooks. Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Introduced first products to Barbecue Central over 7 years ago. You can get in contact with them at sucklebusters.com. Like them on their Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters, or visit thetexasbbqforum.com. Check them out and see why Sucklebusters means bustin' with flavor. And by Butcher Barbecue, makers of injections, sauces, and rubs. Find them online at butcherbbq.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, a leader in the pellet grill market. You can find out more about their cookers by visiting greenmountaingrills.com. And by cookinpellets.com, a maker of high-quality pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit them at cookinpellets.com, or you can find them at amazon.com as well.
This is Rennie Knopf with ChampionshipBBQ.tv, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Oh yeah, it's the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. You want to jump into the show tonight? Yeah, more than happy to have you. 216-220-0966. That's the phone number. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. Let me tell you something. I don't know if anybody else didn't get it, but I did not get my own newsletter that I sent out at 4 o'clock today. Did anybody else sign? Does anybody else in the chat room right now, are they an active subscriber to the newsletter and they didn't get it tonight? Goes out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Very upsetting. This is only being built upon by the fact that over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've had various emails sent in to me during the course of the week saying, hey, I used to get the newsletter. I don't get the newsletter. I realized at some point that I also did not get the newsletter over the last couple weeks, so very troubling things going on at iContact.com. However, I have printed out the customer service phone number, and I will be lobbing them a phone call, and much to their dismay. Just prefacing the fact that it's much to their dismay. However, here's what's happening on the show tonight, because I know you didn't get the newsletter, because I didn't get it. At 9:14, your third Tuesday of the month, regular recurring guest, Barbecue Hall of Famer of 2015, multiple-time author, TV show host, all-around good guy, Steven Raichlen joining the show. 9:35, he's been on the show before. However, it has been a bit. You see him on television quite a bit. You see him on the Facebooks, social medias, and so forth. Ernest Cervantes, Burnt Bean Company, will be joining us, 9:35. Then we'll move to the second hour, and we continue to roll on with barbecue pit manufacturer people. This guy falls into that category. This time, however, under the subcategory of barbecue pits in pellet cookers. He had his own real barbecue radio show for like 14 years, which we'll also discuss with him. Bruce Bjorkman, Mr. Barbecue, will be joining us at 10:14 to bestow the virtues of the Mac Grill. If you're not familiar with those, you'll get up to school on those. And coming up at 10:35, out of the bullpen, as we say, the winner of the most recent Sam's Club local qualifier, the pitmaster of Insane Swine Barbecue, Jared Hausengay, will join us. Your phone calls, your emails, if you are so inclined, 216-220-0966, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, your 2 bits of contact info. All right, you're watching the show right now. Get on the Facebook, get on the Twitter, whatever kind of social news. Let everybody know the show is up and running. thebbqcentralshow.com, the best place to go to get the live audio. If you want to see the video stuff, send them to outdoorcookingchannel.com. The multiple year, bordering on decade, I think, syndication partner video side for the show. You can also go to the Roku App Store, as well as a number of IP television platform offers the Outdoor Cooking Channel app, so go ahead and check that out. Download it if you have the Outdoor Cooking Channel app in your particular IPTV platform, and you can watch the show live from your couch on your high-definition television. No guarantee on the eyeballs, folks, but I'm just telling you, you have that option. As far as replays are concerned, the most popular way to get this show, as it has been under the life of the show, is iTunes for replays on the audio. I have a YouTube channel which you can check out. Outdoor Cooking Channel has video replays, of course. And then you can go to the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. You get audio, video replays there all the time. Never any reason you should miss anything on this show. Not even ever. So if there is something going on where you can't watch the whole show in its entirety or whatever the case may be, never fear. You can always find a way to get to replays of past interviews, really good calls, emails, my rants, whatever you want. That's how you do it. So first things first, I want to thank Dan Uladal. Dan is a sponsor of this show, one of the newer sponsors of this show. He has the Chops Power Injector, and he sent me one probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I showed it off on this show a couple weeks ago, as far as just showing you what it looks like if you hadn't seen what it looks like. But imagine a half-gallon can that looks kind of like an insecticide sprayer. And then it's got a tube running out to this molded manifold situation. Then it's got 4 injector needles at the end of it. And then it will puke out your injection through 4 needles under pressure. It's fabulous. I was a little skeptical on how great it was going to be. However, I did a small, very small, cater for a friend/client over the weekend to the tune of 3, 9, 10-pound pork butts. Let me tell you, I used Jim Elser's Sweet Smoke Q juice, which was great. And I dumped it into Dan's Chops full power injector, put it under pressure, and it was just a thing of beauty. I'm telling you right now, if you are a backyard guy like me, if you are somebody on the competition trail, and you have just had it with the single needle situation on injection. Now, maybe you're an OCD a-hole, and it's got to be 1 needle. You know, I get that stuff. I'm OCD too, as far as vacuuming carpets upstairs, make sure the lines are right. I get that. But if you're not, I was able to inject 3 pork butts fully in the time it would have taken me to do about 3/4 of one on a single needle. So the fact that you are able to save time to either spend with your family if you're a backyard guy like me, or to start prepping something that much earlier if you don't have to worry about all the time you're going to be spending injecting your stuff. With the Chops Full Power Injector, you are getting it done very, very quickly, very efficiently, and it used all of the injection too, by the way. So it's not like there's a lot of waste left over. So if you are teetering on the edge, I highly suggest after using it, go get one. The half gallon is the best $100 you're going to be spending on an injector. It is proven. A lot of other people are using it, but this is coming direct from my mouth. I used it And I can't, quite honestly, I can't wait to use it again. And as they say in the read, which I say each and every week, I might try to inject some alcohol into some melon or fruit or pineapple. I mean, can you imagine some high-powered rum going into a pineapple, letting it marinate up in there, and then cutting it off and enjoying the fruits, pun intended, of your labor? Yeah. Sounds good. So it's Barbecue Kansas City, BARBEQUE, barbecuekansascity.com. Grab your Chops Power Injector. Highly recommend. Also, let me tell you this. If you are interested in potentially winning an iPad mini, it's a 32-gigabyte situation. Get in contact with me through Facebook or shoot me an email. I have tickets. They are $5 a piece. Is that right? It's $20 for five. $5 a piece. You can get 5 for $20. So you save, you get 1 for free if you get 5. I got 15 left. It benefits my oldest daughter's varsity softball, varsity volleyball team. I've sold a number of them already to a lot of listeners of the show. So if you are interested, drop me an email. It's $5. You can pay me through check. You can pay me through PayPal, whatever you like. Now, quick shout out, and I hate saying that, but to Doug Scheiding from Rogue Cookers, outfitting your host tonight. But the best part of the whole outfit is this Yeti tumbler. Holy crap, is this thing great. The ice holding capability in this 20-ounce tumbler is mind-boggling. You can work off of one load of ice under pretty extremely hot conditions, and it just hardly melts at all. I have not drank anything out of any other vessel than this. And I don't even know how the hell he got Yeti to put Rogue Cookers on his tumbler, which is pretty cool in itself. But so thanks to Doug Scheiding. Also, thanks to Dan Arnold for the spicy peach barbecue sauce from Sucklebusters. Woof. Look, I know we talk about the honey barbecue glaze and finishing sauce from Sucklebusters. I'm going to divert. Dan had sent me a note 2 weeks ago and said something about peach barbecue sauce. And I said, am I on the same page with you? You have a peach barbecue sauce? He said, yeah, let me send some out. See what you think. Of course, you know me, I'm skeptical. Don't know what I'm thinking about, but it shows up the other day. And I did a couple pork tenderloins. So I'm like, hey, this peach stuff is going to go really good with the pork, for sure. Not only was I pleasantly surprised, I was insanely surprised with how good this stuff was. Dan has a hit on his hands with the spicy peach barbecue sauce. I'm going to encourage you to head on over to Sucklebusters.com. That's Sucklebusters.com, and see if you can't find the spicy peach barbecue sauce, because you're going to want to pick some up. I mean, it's really going to be geared to the pork. I can see it working well on chicken, barbecue chicken for sure. How I can really see it going over well is a 50-50 blend of Dan's spicy peach barbecue sauce and my homemade barbecue sauce. I was mixing it. I was like a mad scientist at the dinner table on Saturday when I was cooking these pork tenderloins, and then had it at the tasting table, mixing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And what I come to find out is my homemade barbecue sauce at 50% and Dan Arnold's spicy peach barbecue sauce from Sucklebusters at 50%. Is it? It's going to be fabulous. I can't wait to try it out on ribs, pork butt sandwiches. I think we got a winner on our hands. You tell me if I'm wrong. Sucklebusters.com. That's Sucklebusters.com. In fact, while Dan has not authorized this, I'm just going to go do it on my own. Instead of the honey barbecue glaze finishing sauce, email me right now, and you can win a bottle of the spicy peach barbecue sauce. Test it out and let me know what you think. In the subject line, put spicy peach sauce. Spicy peach sauce. And I will make sure that Dan sends you a bottle of that particular product. You can review it. We can compare notes, all that stuff. Thanks again to Dan Arnold and the folks over at Sucklebusters. It's sales@sucklebusters.com is the email address. 972-393-9509 is your phone number if you want to give Dan a call. Also, folks in the chat room, weigh in on the new camera angle. I'm going to try a couple different camera angles here over the next couple weeks. This is kind of the Rush Limbaugh off-the-shoulder situation, so I'm not looking directly into the camera, which makes me feel a little bit better, but yeah, I'm always interested for your feedback. All right, we are back with Steven Raichlen right after this. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. 31 cities, $500,000 in cash to be won. Next stop on the tour is this Saturday, August 22nd, 2015, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, a local qualifying event. It will send the top 6 teams to the Richmond, Virginia regional final on September 5th. To find out more about the Sam's Club Barbecue Series, to check results, or potentially to register your team to compete if they're still doing that, you can visit the website kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. That's kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. All right, my next guest can be found here on this show every third Tuesday of the month. Multiple-time author, TV show host, and contributor to this show. 2015 Barbecue Hall of Famer Steven Raichlen joining us on the show. Steven, how are you, buddy?
I am doing great. How about you?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Steven. We've had a run of great weather here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city over the last 2.5 weeks. So with the dying down of the travel softball league and both my oldest and youngest daughter, mix that in with some great weather, I have been outside cooking my face off the last couple of weeks and trying to make up for lost time. Are you a guy that is cooking quite often outside, or is that more along the lines of a work thing, and you want to separate that at all?
No, anytime I am home, I am grilling outside. And I would say, I'm on the road a lot, but when I'm home, we grill. We're in Martha's Vineyard this time of year, so a lot of incredible seafood. I just did lobsters on the grill. We get this amazing harpoon swordfish, which I grill over wood. This is our glory time for all of us.
No doubt about it. Steven Raichlen joining me here on the show. Steven, when you're on the road, and you said when you're home you like to be outside grilling as much as possible, but when you're on the road, what kind of fare are you taking in? Are you a guy, and I guess I'm kind of guessing here at this, but you seem to be, if you're in a city, you might do some research on where you're going and maybe go around the normal hot spots and find a little bit more of the intricacies of the cities that you're in.
One of the great things about traveling so much is the opportunity to see and meet and experience new flavors, new restaurants. That doesn't mean that all I eat is barbecue. I'm also curious and fascinated about restaurant food trends. But I get a lot of ideas, even if it's not a barbecue joint. I'm speaking to you now from Berkeley, California. And this is the epicenter of the wood grill in California. Grilled vegetables, grilled squid, grilled all manner of grilled seaweed. Last night I had a 6-hour short rib that was then finished over a wood fire. It was just spectacular.
Is that a Santa Maria style situation out there with the red oak, or do you find that the wood being used out there is a little bit more diverse than one that would normally consider a traditional California-style barbecue?
Well, the wood in question last night was oak, but it couldn't have been further away from the Santa Maria tradition. I mean, first of all, beef short ribs, not tri-tip. Second of all, it was a 2-step cooking process. It was a braised rib, that was finished over a wood-burning grill. Complex sauce, wine-based. But this is a part of my world. This is part of our world. I mean, what I love about barbecue is, it's the brisket and the ribs and the pork shoulder and the tri-tip, but it's also the application and harnessing of a wood fire to imbue all sorts of flavors and textures in almost any food you can imagine.
Stephen, one of the things that I saw the other day that about took me off my chair was I was watching one of the episodes of Project Smoke, and you said right there for everybody to hear loud and proud that you had really never either enjoyed or never had shrimp cocktail in its normal fashion. And then you proceeded to, dazzle the viewers with a smoked shrimp cocktail recipe that looked absolutely tremendous. But, I mean, is that true? Have you never really taken in a traditional shrimp cocktail that you would get at a Indianapolis, Indiana, St. Elmo's situation?
Well, I know I'm treading on delicate territory here, but I have to say that boiling is the least interesting method of cooking that exists.
Sure.
About the only food that I boil is an egg to make a hard-boiled egg, which I then shell and smoke. And why anybody would boil shrimp when you could grill it, it escapes me. So I've never understood the charm of a boiled shrimp cocktail. However, you take that same shrimp, you slather it with a spice paste, or you hit it with a spicy rub, you smoke it, you cook it over a wood fire, and then you can serve it chilled with an interesting barbecue sauce. The dish on Project Smoke that you referenced, it's actually a Yucatan-style barbecue sauce, which means that the ketchup is electrified with chipotle chilies and enriched with grated orange zest and orange juice. That's a shrimp salad. That's a shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, and it looked absolutely fabulous, too. So obviously you're eating with your eyes, but I'm sure it tasted really good. So we have...
That's a fun show. That's the Surf and Turf show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a great show. I'm not a huge, fish guy. I don't mind shellfish. I'll do crab. I'll do shrimp. But once we get out to, I live in Cleveland, so obviously walleye and perch is, prevalent. Obviously, heavily laden with chemicals in Lake Erie. However, it's just not something that I've been able to get into. Just like in a pan, even on a grill. So, my father-in-law's very disappointed. He's a big fisherman. He's always bringing me stuff to smoke on the grill. But, I try. Every year I try. That's like my mantra ever since I was 30 years old. I didn't like wine. I tried every year. And then finally, after 30 years old, I started to like wine. Same thing with all these other foods. You find, Stephen, as you progress in your years, that your palate is continually changing and things that maybe you didn't like a year ago are now attractive.
Well, I do believe your palate evolves, and so do your grilling skills. I'm the kind of guy that I love just about everything I eat. Those noises I make on the show. It's funny, I had dinner with some friends the other night, and they said, "You're making those noises that you make on the show." I love eating. I love flavors. I love new tastes. But I think I might have a fix to your fish problem.
I'm all ears. With you? Yes, please.
Okay, so it involves a plank. It could be a cedar plank or an alder plank. But instead of soaking it, which is the standard way of using a plank, and in fact, the way that I've recommended in some of my books, you char the plank on a hot fire, almost to smoking, almost to burnt. And then you turn it over and you put the fish on the charred plank. And then you put it back on the grill, direct grill, not indirect grill anymore. You char the bottom of it. And that gives you so much flavor. And if you're still a little dubious about that, just try tying a strip of bacon on the top and the bottom of that piece of fish. Works great for trout. I imagine it'd be great for pike or walleye. And I think it might give you a whole new perspective on grilled seafood.
Well, I will absolutely try that. We're talking with Stephen Reichlin. You can find him at barbecuebible.com. Also the host of the new TV show Project Smoke, which can be found at projectsmoke.org. Stephen, so let me ask you, we have Labor Day coming up here in a couple weeks, and obviously everybody's probably going to be thinking about running out the old standards on the grill or the barbecue. And in an effort to at least give people some other things to chew on, items that you might recommend or recipes or menu items that you might be doing for a Labor Day celebration instead of the standard stuff?
Well, let me start with what we're doing. So, we're still up on Martha's Vineyard, and we do a grill top clam bake on Labor Day. We take the grill out to the beach. We start, so instead of digging a hole and, lining up with stones and seaweed, which in effect is the process of steaming, only slightly more interesting than boiling. Everything gets grilled. The corn gets grilled. I put the clams in a grill basket with some diced linguiça sausage, and that gets grilled just until the clams pop open. Split the lobsters. They get grilled with herb butter. It's the potatoes. Potatoes get put. They get smoked and then turned into a smoked potato salad. Still getting some good Maine blueberries, so there's probably be a Maine blueberry cobbler for dessert, or maybe sliced watermelon, sprinkled with goat cheese or diced salty cheese. That's an amazing dessert. So that's the Reichland Labor Day. For our blog on barbecuebible.com, big this time, and we're going to talk about foods and dishes that you can cook in large quantities for a crowd.
I think in the end, that's like what most people want to be able to master. And the thing that I try and tell people all the time is if you're going to be throwing one, ask people for help, ask people to bring stuff, make it a kind of everybody's invested into the party. But don't lose yourself in the fact that, you've probably seen it 100 times, Stephen. You go to somebody's house and all of a sudden the host has become so involved and overcommitted that they don't have any ability to enjoy their own party. So there's got to be some ways to avoid that, right?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you my 4-part answer to that question, my 4-part solution. So first of all, not only get people involved with bringing stuff, but get people involved with the grilling. So first step, it's an appetizer that you grill to order and serve hot off the grill, right? Because where does everybody go? They congregate around the grill.
Right.
So maybe it's grilled garlic bread, or maybe it's bacon-wrapped dates, or maybe it's that shrimp cocktail, that you can grill ahead and serve cold. That's a super big help. Okay, step number 2 is grill a giant platter of vegetables. Why? Super colorful, can be grilled ahead. You could even do it the day before. Grilled vegetables taste great at room temperature, and that hassle's out of your hair. Step number 3, grill a big hunk of meat, and grill or smoke a big hunk of meat. So maybe it's a brisket. One thing I've been doing a lot since we did it on the show is a whole beef tenderloin that you smoke. And we actually, I love doing it in the pit barrel cooker, and you hang it from the hook, and it takes about 45 minutes. You slice it. It's absolutely regal. Whipped horseradish, whipped cream, great sauce. And then you bring it back to cooking to order again for the dessert. And maybe it's some really cool s'more, like you smoke the marshmallows ahead of time. Maybe instead of graham crackers, you're using homemade chocolate chip cookies or shortbread. Or maybe it's a grilled pineapple that you put on a rotisserie. You peel it and sprinkle it with cinnamon sugar. But that whole idea is sort of you're using your grill both to cook ahead of time and then show off at the last minute.
Stephen Reichland joining us here on the show, giving us some holiday tips to not get lost at your own barbecue or grilling event for the upcoming Labor Day situation. Stephen, let me ask you something.
I like that. That is a great title for a blog, How to Not Get Lost at Your Own Party.
Yeah, it's so easy to, that was me 6 or 7 years ago. I always had these great ideas, and I envisioned how well this party was going to be, but I didn't envision the part where I was going to be running my ass off in between outside, inside, and making sure everybody's stuff was done. And it was no fun for me, and I was the one giving the party.
Yeah, I'm afraid that happens pretty often.
Well, we've tried to help people out now, so they will do with that information what they will. However, one of the other things that I know you're pretty passionate about is the fact that it's a seasonal thing or local stuff or both. What's where you at locally and what's in season. People really need to go out and do a little bit more research on the regions that they live in and the stuff that they can be putting on the grill depending on what season we are in, right?
That is such an important principle. I would say that the 2 biggest principles that are guiding me in my grilling life this year, today, next year. 1, seasonality. And you will not get salmon at my house in the fall, winter, because I cook salmon only when I can get wild salmon from the Pacific Northwest. I'm not interested in farm salmon. You will, right now you'll get corn because the corn on Martha's Vineyard is absolutely fabulous. And we have this, somehow I think we've been spoiled in the wrong direction in America, where we want everything all year long. We want to eat blueberries in the winter, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And when you cook and grill seasonally, you come to look forward to certain foods and flavors, and it just increases the pleasure. The other thing, and I know, Greg, we talked about this last month, what your food eats, where it comes from, matters as much as how you grill it. And to me, organic chicken, heritage pork, grass-fed beef, I mean, these really, for me, that's my competitive advantage at this point.
Stephen, in that regard, and I don't think we really talked about, or I didn't really follow up on it, is how does one, on the consumer side, confirm that the grass-fed beef or the humanely raised and taken out chickens, or whatever you want to have as protein, is really what they say? I mean, how are you able to really make sure that you're paying what you're paying for, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a very good question. And we started down this journey, shopping at places like Whole Foods, looking for the label organic. I mean, organic does mean something. But what we have done since then is we've really tried to cultivate relationships with individual farmers and growers. So like on Martha's Vineyard, for example, there's Livingston the Chicken Man, and we get all our chickens from him. We call him, we tell him what we want. We've learned to have him slaughter it 2 or 3 days earlier, so it's not so fresh. You can eat a chicken that's too fresh. Go to your farmers markets and make friends with your farmers. First of all, you're getting what's the freshest in your local region, and then you're supporting farmers, which to me is it's absolutely essential. Greg, I think for all too long, the whole conversation about barbecue revolved around your smoker, your wood, your rub, your techniques. Nobody kind of gave a thought to the quality of the meat. But let me tell you something. I did a grass-fed brisket a few weeks ago. It was the best brisket I ever made. What were the seasonings? Salt and pepper and hot pepper flakes. What was the wood? Well, I happened to use peach wood, but that was amazing. But it was really the quality of the meat.
Also, it's how to cook it, right? I mean, I've interviewed the top pitmasters for years and years on this show, and these guys give, much like you do with Barbecue University, but they kind of give a spill your guts class over a 2-day period. Geez, aren't you concerned, so-and-so, that you're going to do all of this information telling, giving away all of your secrets and techniques, and next weekend these guys could turn right around and beat you? And they say, you know what, that's kind of a shallow thought, because in the end, they have to actually go out and know how to cook it and execute it right. And that's where a large disconnect happens. So, I mean, you really got to know, aside from the flavor profiles and all that other stuff, you really got to know how to cook something first to make it stellar.
Absolutely. And that, brings us to that whole practice theory. I mean, I'm sure you've read that book that talks about, 10,000 hours, like Tiger. It takes a Tiger Woods 10,000. It takes you 10,000 hours playing golf to become a Tiger Woods. It takes you 10,000 hours of sitting at a computer to become a Bill Gates. And I believe that that's really true with barbecue. Just because someone teaches you the techniques, that doesn't mean that unless you practice and practice and practice, you're going to nail it.
Stephen Reichlin joining me here on the show, barbecuebible.com, if you want to check it out here while we are chatting it up here for the next few minutes. Stephen, let me ask you a out-of-the-box question here. If I had to send you to an island and you could only bring one cooker with you, only one, what would it be and why?
It would probably be a kettle grill, because you can direct grill on a kettle grill, you can indirect grill on a kettle grill, you can smoke on a kettle grill, you can burn wood. I don't know if your desert island is going to have charcoal or not. But, and I might even make it simpler than that. And I might even just bring like a Tuscan grill grate, set it up on wood. But of course, for thinking about the etymology of barbecue, You could get saplings. Maybe you'd be lucky enough to have wild allspice growing. You could make an allspice grate and put it over an allspice wood fire, and you'd be half the way there towards authentic Jamaican jerk. It's a good question.
One that could spin on and on and on, I'm sure, depending on who you ask. It's Steven Raichlen. Again, Barbecue Bible, the new TV show is Project Smoke, which you can find on your local PBS channels, projectsmoke.org, the website. Steven, always appreciate the time, and we'll do it again next month.
I appreciate it, too. And let me tell you, you ask really good questions, and I like that.
Well, thank you, Steven, and we'll do it again. There he is,
Take care. Bye-bye.
Steven Raichlen, joining us on the show. P.S. Maybe you didn't hear that. I ask really good questions. I would take that kettle. Like, no doubt about it. I would take the ranch kettle, Always bigger. I knew he was going to go like... you're dealing with a pro. I knew he was going to go like kettle grill to start. Then you could hear the wheels start turning. And he's like, you know what? What if I was someone and I had these sticks and I could make my own bath? He went from kettle grill to Tuscan grill grate to I could just make everything out of wood. That's awesome. Steven Raichlen. Let me talk to you for a few minutes, folks, about the longest-running sponsor of the show, located in Warminster, Pennsylvania. Of course, you know who they are, the Barbecue Guru. Gang, if you're like me, if you've been thinking about automatic pit temperature control devices for your cooker, stop here. This is the company that started it all. They are the creators of this technology. Why are you going to buy it from anybody else? Not familiar with how they work? Let me tell you. Imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature, and once set, keeps it running right there all the way through the cook. Sound too good to be true? It's not. It's real life. You can take advantage of this technology today. Now, maybe you are a busy working professional, or perhaps you are constantly on the run with kids, you're doing errands. Quite frankly, you just don't have that time to sit around and tend the pit temps. I get it. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt or a brisket or a couple slabs of ribs. You're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. And the Barbecue Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. If you're looking for kind of like a cruise control for your pit, might I suggest the Party Q at $149? You get a revamp, relook type of a type of an automatic pit temperature control device. It runs on AA batteries. It's a self-contained package. It can go from cooker to cooker to cooker. It's very nice. You can also go a little bit more tech geek with the CyberQ Wi-Fi. It'll run up to 2 pits at once. You connect your smart device to this unit, and then not only can you monitor where your internal temperature or your meat is or where your pit temperature is, you can make adjustments right from your phone or your tablet, your netbook, your laptop, whatever it is. No reason to get out of bed anymore to make those pit adjustments. If you're in the market for a cooker, how about the Onyx Oven? Yeah, winning on competition circuits as well as in backyards all over the country for years now. It's fully insulated. It holds a lot of meat. Gets those half and full pans in there for food service, no problem. You know it's going to work seamlessly with the Barbecue Guru pit temperature control devices, any of them. Do yourself a flavor. Head on over to thebbqguru.com. Check out their products. If you have any questions, call them 800-288-GURU. They will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or visit thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru is a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Ernest Cervantes out of the break. Stick around. Be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the Barbecue Central show is being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers of some of the best pellet grills out there on the market today. If you are looking for a big cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. How about something medium-sized? They got you covered there. Something for those tailgates? Yeah, they got those too. They can also supply you with pellets for those cookers as well. Check them out online at greenmountaingrills.com. I love mine. You can love yours as well if you just go visit greenmountaingrills.com. All right, joining me now, a barbecue caterer, a TV barbecue competitor extraordinaire, and a guy who has seen time on this show in the past. We race over and welcome back to Burnt Bean Company, Ernest Cervantes, joining us here on the show. Ernest, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, man, look at that dog. Yeah. What's up, dog?
This is my pit bull.
Yeah, pit chihuahua, maybe. Is that a chihuahua?
Yeah, it's Blanca.
Te quiero Taco Bell. Wait, what's his name?
It's Blanca.
Blanca.
It's Blanca. It's a girl.
That's white, right, in Spanish?
Right.
Look at me. Watch out.
Gold stars for you, buddy.
I know. I'm trying my damnedest. My kids started school today. How about your kids? They back to school?
No, not till next week.
Next week? Wow. Well, I think we were right along that time frame, like forever, and then we were notified at the beginning of, well, not we, but they were notified at the beginning of the summer that their spring or their summer break was going to get cut by about 2.5 weeks because all of these different counties up where I am in Cleveland were going to be adopting this new school schedule, and there's no proration of your summer days back. It was just like, eat it. You got to go back 2.5 weeks early, and you're not going to make it up on the backside. But nevertheless,
that's no bueno.
Better them than me having to go. I mean, I'm like, hey, I got to go to work, dude. So you're not going to get anything from me. All right, so let's do this, Ernest, before we get into barbecue pit wars. Maybe for the folks that might be tuning in for the first time tonight, or they're just kind of getting into the whole barbecue situation. A little background on you and kind of how you got into the barbecue situation.
I guess I started about 7 years ago competitively. What happened was my neighbor came by, tried my barbecue. He's like, dude, have you ever thought about competing? And I'd never thought about it. And he actually paid for it. He's like, I want you to take that barrel pit and go out there and kick everybody's butt. And we got first place, and the rest is history, man. I've been on Chopped,
Wow.
Chopped Grill Masters, and I've been the champion. Been on Barbecue Pit Masters, Barbecue Pit Master All-Stars, and now Pit Wars. So it's been a blessing.
Are you catering too, right?
Well, I'm an executive chef out of the university, Texas Lutheran University. We cater everything else, but primarily I'm a competition barbecuer.
All right, and that's Burnt Bean. Well, the website is Burnt Bean Co. BurntBeanCompany.com if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
Are you so I mean, you're obviously a food guy, like from way back. Has food been like a family thing for you growing up and always being around the kitchen, or is that just something you kind of picked up a little bit later?
No, that's pretty much how my life revolved, was around food. You know, growing up, my grandma had a restaurant. Mom and dad, I guess that was the best way to show that they loved us, was through, food. And we're a bunch of foodies in our family, and I guess it just snowballed to me. So I'm just passing generation after generation.
So you've seen time now, as you had just mentioned, on the Chopped Grill Masters, which is Food Network. You've been on Barbecue Pit Masters, which now is Destination America. You've been on Barbecue Pit Wars, Grill Masters twice. Barbecue Pit Masters twice.
Right.
Regular competitor and then All-Stars. What people are always trying to figure out a way to get on the show. I mean, you've been on Barbecue Pit Masters twice. You've been on 2 other shows. So people are like, man, how the hell can't even get on one TV show? I'm trying all this great stuff. Ernest is on every damn barbecue show. So, like, what's the deal? Like, you just have the magic look, or you got the rap down, or what's your success to getting on the TV shows?
It's pretty much this face right here, man. It's the $1 million look right here.
Damn right.
Looking.
Damn right. Sexy bastard.
No, honestly, I just been lucky. I guess they dig me on there, and I guess I have a big following, and I guess I don't know how I just been blessed, and they, when they call, I answer and don't say no.
When you are approached for shows, like, how does it change from one to the next? Like the first time you were on Barbecue Pit Masters, how did that differ from Barbecue Pit Masters All-Stars?
The way I got on Barbecue Pit Masters the first time, it actually the original person that was supposed to be on the show, the producer said, "Look, I just finished filming this guy on Chopped, and he's a barbecue guy in Texas. Maybe you can call him up and they called me literally that day, and they said, "Can you come in next?" I think it was like they called me on a Wednesday. I had to be out over there by Thursday afternoon. So that was just lucky, just being there. And then I guess I was one of the fan favorites, so they asked me to be back on Pitmaster All-Stars.
And that's just a matter of them picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, we just want you back on because everybody loves you."
Right.
And it's no problem. So are they paying you to get out there? Do you get any, I mean, aside from, look, I get it. Being on a television is, its own pay in itself because it's your face and not anybody else. Right. But look, I mean, it can be an expense depending on where the hell they want you to go. So do you get stipend or, guarantees or anything like that to make the trek out to wherever you're going to be actually shooting it?
Yeah. Basically they pay for, your hotel, your food, and, what you need to get on the show. Like on Barbecue Pitmaster All-Stars, your room lodge, the stuff. You're not going to walk away with thousands of dollars. It's pretty much like what you said. You're just putting your name out there, and that's money in itself right there.
How are you seeing it come back to you when you're on all of these shows? Is it spikes of lots of incoming stuff or lots of interest, and then it kind of dies down, or do you just see from that first time it spiked up and it's been up and you've been kind of like riding a wave ever since?
It's one of those things that, of course, everybody spikes right when you're on. But the cool thing about it is that, not only am I getting notoriety, but, it kind of helps out my sponsors too. They see the rubs out there. People see what I use. It helps out my sponsors because now people are wanting to use what I use on TV. They're like, okay, that's Texas pepper jelly, or that's Cosmos right there. That's a Creekstone brisket. So it's a win-win advertisement for everybody, and that helps me out at the end. We're about to roll out our own spices in 2016, so that's going to help out a lot too.
Is that an arena you really want to get into? I mean, with roughly 758 billion rubs and spices out there on the market, you feel confident enough in jumping into what many would consider to be a saturated market at this point?
Everybody's been asking me that for the past 5 years. We're rolling out our spices. Not only just we're rolling them out, but I think it's just I'm already using them. So if I can sell some on the side, that'd be cool. If not, it's no big deal. I'm not gonna be the one sitting with 800 pounds in my living room and wondering what the hell I'm gonna do with it. And buy one get 12 free like fireworks.
The garage is full of 17 pallets stacked from floor to roof, right?
Exactly. I always consider people without rubs. They come out. It's kind of like a flavor of the month. After you've been there, you get popular, then it kind of dies out. So at the end of the day, I'm using what I'm using. As long as I win, people might buy them. If not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
All right. So people are always interested in the people that are successful, and I think it's important to note that while you've seen success on the TV side of things, that has translated obviously over to the competition side of things as well. I mean, you've won a number of really big competitions. I mean, you do really well. So people are always interested in, are you using? So, I mean, who do you use? Like, who sponsors you, and who do you believe in?
Yeah, my main sponsors are Cosmo Q's, Creekstone Farms, Craig Sherry and Texas Pepper Jelly, OBQ's. I also have Junior Arias on there. There's a lot of great people that I have. Ritter's Rubs.
Hey, Ernest.
Yeah.
Time for a new dog.
Right? But so I got a lot of great sponsors, and I'm just going to move over here real quick because of the lighting. But so I've been blessed in that part, and at Western Wood is my predominantly big sponsor. They've helped me out tremendously, and I'm very grateful.
Are they chunks guys, or are they log guys too?
They're everything. They got chips, logs, you name it, they make it. I like it because it's a great, consistent product, and it wins.
Ernest Cervantes joining us here on the show, Burnt Bean Company. You can find that website at burntbeanco.com while we are talking here. On those TV shows, Ernest, do they, and I've heard from some other people, so I'm just interested in getting a little bit different perspective from different folks that are on TV shows. Do they encourage you to run at the mouth a little bit just for fun and excitement?
They do. It's
how is that proposition?
Say, hey, go talk crap. I'm sorry, you broke up?
I'm sorry. Like, how is that positioned to you to make it, it's kind of like a weird thing, right?
Well, if you've ever been in, this isn't my first rodeo. you kind of know what the network wants, and you kind of want to make the show a good show. Because if you don't, it's going to be a stalemate, and then you're going to have to hear repercussions, kind of like on Pitmaster saying, "Oh, it's boring, it's the same old stuff." But on Pit Wars, Michael, Myron, and all of us got together and say, "Hey, let's talk some smack. Let's get some fun stuff going here," because it makes the show more interesting, and it doesn't sound mundane looking at someone prep a brisket or turning chickens, and that's it. So we had a lot of fun, and the camaraderie too. Camaraderie has a lot to do with it. If you're digging the guys you're with, and you're doing the show with, it comes out to be a better show.
I guess where the potential issue for viewers is, and potentially for the contestants too. I mean, if you're not a guy that is a shit talker or that likes to run smack, but you want to be on the show and you're a qualified cooker and you're going to do well,
right?
Do you have to play devil and angel on the other side of the shoulder?
Yeah, would you rather see a guy that's funny, comes up with great one-liners, talks a little smack and backs it up, or a guy that's really good at barbecue but doesn't say anything, he's just there? It's not good for TV.
Maybe that's why a lot of those people that are crying about not being on television aren't on television. They cook really good, but that's all they can do. All right. Do you think that... Well, let me ask you this question. I mean, it's not loaded because I would just kind of ask you. You seem to be on television a lot, but have you noticed that when it comes to barbecue on television, I mean, you see a lot of the same freaking guys on television? Is that just because do we tie back to the fact that the guys that you're seeing can cook, but then they can also bring the Hollywood side to the show as well?
Right. Yeah, that's, it's kind of actually a changing of the guard. When this all started, it was more Harry Sue, Johnny Trigg, all those guys. Now it's kind of moved to a different era. You got Robbie Royal, you got myself, Hot Wat Chulas was on it, Michael Character. They're coming up with different bunches of people. And I guess, at the end of the day, I'm just blessed that they kind of dig me watching on TV. So
is a restaurant guy ever going to win a barbecue competition show?
Oh, man, I don't know. Unless he changes everything, I don't think so. His restaurant's phenomenal. His food is great. But at the end of the day, it's competition. Barbecue is a different animal. And, he has a lot of pride in not doing that. And as long as you keep that philosophy, keep on being last place or, close to the last.
Because you have to cook for who's judging you. And a lot of those guys are competition barbecue cooks. So perhaps subconsciously, they're just expecting what they would turn in as well to be on their plate, right?
Right.
Let me guess. Negra.
No.
Oh, damn it. Well, I thought I'd go for the easy guess, but you never know. So if you're not going to be cooking for your judges, I mean, inherently you're going to be, first one asked to leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're not cooking for ourselves. We cook for ourselves at home. At cook-offs, you got to cook for your judges and what they want. No matter how sweet it is, I hate it, but if they like it like that, guess what? I'm not spending $600, $700 just to do what I want to do. I want to win.
So talk to me about Barbecue Pit Wars. For the folks that maybe haven't seen it, maybe thumbnail sketch out the idea of the show, and then, what did you think about being on it versus some of the other shows?
Pit Wars, I really liked the show. Last year, it was the first season. They asked me to do it last year, but I had a wedding I had to go to right in the middle of filming, so I wasn't able to get on it. So I was fortunate enough to be asked this year. All it is pretty much, in my opinion, what they did the first couple of seasons of Pit Masters. They went back to the roots of competition and seeing us how we compete. But the difference was we were competing against Myron in Georgia and Robbie Royals from Georgia and Mike Characters from Georgia. And they brought this big Texas boy in to throw a little wrench in the machine. So that's what we did. I don't think they expected us to do so well. But I adapted. I got my best friend out there, Eric Thomas, from the Rolling Grill, and we kicked some ass.
Overall, very happy with your time on Barbecue Pit Wars then?
Oh, yeah. Had a blast. I met so many great people out there in the South that you only know from Facebook. So to see them and to hang out with them, Hot Wat Chulas, Blazing Sevens, Smoking Q, who else? The Killer Bees. There's so many Bubbas. There's so many great people out there, and it was really cool to hang out with them. It was even better to beat them all.
Yeah, always better to beat everybody when you have the chance. More TV shows on deck for Ernest?
Right now, I can't say.
All right, that's a yes.
Stay tuned. That's all I got to say.
Ernest Cervantes is the is the pitmaster for Burnt Bean Company, burntbeanco.com. Where are you going to be competing at next, Ernest?
The next cook-off, I should be at San Antonio Rodeo in September.
That's a big one, right?
Yeah, there's about 400 or 500 teams. We graduated.
And is that going to be your team, or are you going to be like hired gun for somebody else?
No, it's my team.
Do you hire gun?
Oh yeah.
What's your fee to hire gun?
6-pack of Big Reds and a bag of pork rinds.
Big Reds. Oh my God. He's crazy. Ernest Cervantes joining us here on the show. Ernest, good luck there at your next competition. And when news breaks, you know who to call first, brother.
You know it, brother.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
There he is, Ernest Cervantes. Burnt Bean Company, burntbeanco.com. That's burntbeanco.com. And as I said, this is a guy you see on television quite a bit nowadays. Dope. That was me banging into my... Never been in front of him. Here's something I want to talk to you about, as I just mentioned in the first segment, the Chops Power Injector System. 2015 Barbecue Tool of the Year from the National Barbecue Association. 3 awesome sizes to fit your needs. Patent pending technology. Let's break it down. Number 1 seller, half-gallon Chops Power Injector System. That's what I got. Designed for the competition or the backyard guy. Easy to use, clean to fill it, pump it, and you are ready to go. If you just need one brisket or a pork shoulder, you don't have to fill it all the way up. Just put in what you need. It will use it all. I can confirm that, by the way. It comes with the 14-gauge needles, the 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector, all for $100 plus shipping anywhere. Then you have the 1-gallon Chops Power Injector System, designed for the catering and bigger jobs. Holds double the amount of the injection system at the half-gallon size. Use it in competitions like when you are cooking MBN, whole hog, or maybe you got 10 shoulders to get that perfect one. It comes with 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, a needle protector, $120 plus shipping anywhere. The newest one is the Chops Full Power Injector System. It's electric, and it's the commercial and competition Big Daddy. It's not a holding tank, but a 3.5-foot pickup tube that you can put in any size container, from a few ounces to a 55-gallon drum that was designed for Chef Rob at the best barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. He said time and time again that with the Chops Full Power Injector System, his briskets are better than ever. Comes with metal needle adapters, 14-gauge needles, 3-inch 12-gauge needles, 2-inch 11.5-gauge needles, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $325 plus shipping anywhere. A number of the top pitmasters in the world use Chops Power Injector Systems every day to make their barbecue better than the rest. Here's the thing, right? Ernest Cervantes just said it. We live in a foodie world. You need flavor in every bite. This is how you do it. This is how you do it fast. It's not just for meat. How about alcohol-infused watermelon or pineapple or carob fruit, honeydew? Extra accessories, you want them, they have them. Want to shoot medium ground spices? They have you covered for that. They have 2, 3, and 4-inch 12-gauge needles. Also, they have you covered with a 2-inch closed-tip needle, perfect for shooting fatty meats to keep the fat from plugging up the needle. They sell replacement stock needle adapters and plug screws. They have a great upgrade so you can make any Chops Power Injector bulletproof with metal needle adapters. It's perfect. It's Chops Power Injector System. Gives you and your barbecue some power. BarbecueKansasCity.com. BarbeQue. BarbecueKansasCity.com. Thanks to Dan Uladol and the folks over at Chops Power Injector System. We're back to wrap up the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks again to Ernest Cervantes for joining me this past segment. By the way, everybody asking, who won the peach barbecue sauce? Who won the peach barbecue sauce? A email contributor to the show, Eugene Apicella. Congratulations to Eugene. I'm going to send that over to Dan Arnold at Sucklebusters, and you will get some spicy peach barbecue sauce. You're going to be so excited, Eugene. I'm not trying to pump you up to get you in that right frame of mind. However, I think you might be pleasantly surprised. The viscosity on it, if you just take it out in a bowl and kind of take a spoon and watch it come off the spoon, watching its viscosity, that's something all on its own. Pardon me. So enjoy that when you get it. We are going to step away here just for a few minutes and reload for the second hour. Pork for sure, Eugene. Chicken for sure. If you like sweet meat, I do not like sweet meat, like sweet beef. Oh, allergy attack. If you like sweet beef, that might be a winner too. I don't like sweet beef. My wife likes sweet beef. What? Also, if you could, little feedback on the newly revised camera angle. You like it, you don't like it, you don't care. Want all the feedback there. I'm going to step away, refresh my libation, and we'll be back for the second hour. You are listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks. More to come on the show. Hang on.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how you going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
We ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. This is a show that talks about a lot of things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, I just gave you, did I? 216-220-0966. Dave Bosk is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to jump in if you want. Eugene, send me your shipping information from Port St. John, Florida, and I will make sure that you get your peach barbecue sauce. Thanks again to Ernest Cervantes for joining us last segment, talking about a lot of barbecue TV stuff. This portion of the Barbecue Central show is brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase as well. As Chris Becker told us last week, if you sign up for their app, they're constantly monitoring Amazon because for points that seem to be indiscriminate at best, there are some days that Amazon will blow out pellets at a ridiculous, and by ridiculous I mean cheap price. And then other days you're looking at your normal, 40-pound bag deal. But get that app, and if you need pellets because you have a pellet-fired cooker, get it when it's cheap. Stock up when it's cheap, right? If it's free, it's me. The 25th, still to come on the show tonight. In about 13 minutes from now, Bruce Bjorkman from Mac Grills will be talking to us about their line of pellet cookers. And then at 10:35, we will talk to Jared Hausengay about his 2015 Sam's Club local win in Scarborough, Maine. So looking forward to that. As I just mentioned, the 2015 Sam's Club Series rolled into Scarborough, Maine this past weekend. A local qualifying event that feeds the top 6 teams into the Richmond, Virginia final on September 5th. Those top 6 teams moving on are in Grand Championship fashion with a 679.9 Insane Swine Barbecue. Again, we'll be talking with him in about 33 minutes from now. RGC, Road Hog Barbecue. Third place, Pork Butt Paradise, with a 677.14. Wait a second. Who's this number 4 team? Who? The what? Wait a second. Put your hands together for the Basic Barbecue team. Patrick Paquette and Wendy Paquette with a 677.06. Congratulations as they move on to the regionals. Q&A Men with a 670.8, and rounding out the top 6, Smokin' Hogs Barbecue, Massachusetts, 664.4. So if you look, really between 1 and 4, not even just 2 points separating 1 from 4. As contests go, 1 through 6, very tight. Well, at least 1 through 5. 6th place dropped off quite a bit. They were about 20 points behind. Well, not 20. 15. Whatever. The next Sam's Club event will be on August 22nd in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Again, this will be another local qualifier. Those 6 teams will also feed into the Richmond, Virginia final. Again, that takes place on September 5th. So congratulations to solid and loyal Centralite Patrick and Wendy Paquette for moving on to the Richmond, Virginia regional final, September 5th. 4th overall, so very, very reputable. 26 teams out there, so what can I tell you? The top 10 teams currently in the Kansas City Barbecue Society. Yeah, sure, why not? Still first, 2 weeks in a row, American Dream Barbecue Team. Clark Crew Barbecue second. Iowa Smoky D's third. Getting Basted fourth. Big Papa Smokers fifth. Smoke Me Silly 6. Yellow River Barbecue 7. Checkered Pig Barbecue 8. Shake and Bake Barbecue 9. And rounding out the top 10, the Wizard of Woz, Mike and Beth Wozniak, Q. Congratulations to them. What did I do with it? Because I didn't have time to pre-record, to pre-produce the weekly barbecue roundup, I was going to give it a shot live. See how well I can do with it. Let me find Late Show. All right. Here is a live edition, never been done before, of the weekly barbecue roundup. All right, folks, here's your edition of the Weekly Barbecue Roundup for August 14th, ladies and gentlemen. Atlanta Barbecue Festival, Atlanta, Georgia. Winning at Awesome Q with a 695.3. Hudson Valley Rib Fest, New Paltz, New York. Winning it, Red Valley Barbecue with a 663.9. Stand By Your Grill, Fulton, Mississippi. Winning it, Killer Hogs with a 701.7. And under some controversy, I understand. Confer Mountain Barbecue Challenge, Confer, Colorado, cooking up in altitude. 3 Little Max Barbecue with a 693.0. Classic City Barbecue Fest and Tailgate Show. It's a GBC qualifier. Athens, Georgia, winning at Atlanta Barbecue Store with a 696.5. Pepsi Wyoming State Championship Barbecue and Bluegrass Festival in Worland, Wyoming. Hey, look at that rooftop barbecue, winning it with a 691.9. Jimmy's Roadhouse Backyard Barbecue Battle in Nwango, Michigan. Smoking Aces at the Barbecue Superstore.com with a 700.03. Sam's Club National Barbecuers Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour, Scarborough, Maine. We know Insane Swine Barbecue won that with a 679.9. Barbecue and Fly In on the River, Excelsior Springs, Missouri, winning it. J-Star Barbecue with a 689.6. 23rd Annual State Barbecue Championship of Nebraska in Omaha, Nebraska, winning it. Spitfire with a 703.4. That's a high score. 14th Annual Maryland State Barbecue Bash in Belair, Maryland, winning it. Chick, Swine, and Bovine, 696.5. Kansas City Kosher Barbecue Competition and Competitor Series, so it doesn't count for points. Oh, and no results are in for the Kosher Barbecue competitions. That might be anti-Semitic. Eurego Barbecue Festival in Holy Moly. The Eurego Barbecue Festival in Waldefeucht-Haaren, Nordrhein-Westfalen, Germany. Miss Piggy's UK with a 678.8. Of course, nothing going on in the FBA right now. They're in between seasons. The Texas Barbecue Update. The IBCA, International Barbecue Cookers Association. Elections are in. 340 of the 700 members. It's a pretty good turnout. Executive Director Craig Sherry wins with 73% of the vote. Secretary Sarah Trevino. Treasury Joe Smith. Director at Large Lars Flores and Michelle Wade. 3 out of 7 cooks reporting this past weekend. Cowboy of the Year Rodeo Cook-Off in Pleasanton, Texas, 34 teams. Winning it, Anthony De La O of Frio Cookers. Smoke in the Park, Kirbyville, Texas. Winning it, Richard Fraga of Community Cookers. Saddle Up for Alzheimer's in Edna, Texas. Bass Ackwards Cookers. Carl Limmer, Hill County Rally for Kids in Driftwood, Texas. Winning it, Ace Estrada, Smoking Aces. No competitions for Texas Gulf Coast, and 0 of 6 reporting for Lone Star Barbecue Association. Thanks to Doug Scheiding of Rogue Cookers, as always, for the gear, but as more importantly for the Texas barbecue updates. And that's going to do it for this weekly barbecue roundup. How about that? I did it live, ladies and gentlemen. Did it live. Is it better live than pre-recorded? I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am pretty fucking talented. Thank you. As mentioned, we do have Bruce Bjorkman coming up out of the break to talk about Mac Grills. I want to talk to you quickly about the easy way to make great barbecue, right? Anywhere in Texas. Dougie? Anywhere in Texas. ButcherBBQ.com, ButcherBBQ.com, the website. Go there immediately, if not sooner. We all know Butcher is well known for all those injections, the pork injections, the beef injections, the bird boosters. This is not an injection, but you could probably inject with it. Grilling oils. Dave, I ask you every week, how are we on the 5-gallon buckets of grilling oils? Where are we? If you need the rubs, he's got them. Premium rubs, of course, which work especially well with the Butcher's injections, formulated to work with those injections. It's going to give you that 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. He's got the steak and brisket rub if you need it. My favorite is the honey rub. I use it all the time. Love it. If you're looking for a sauce, I know I went on and on about how good the Sucklebuster's spicy peach barbecue sauce was, and it is. Dave's is one of my favorites as well, the sweet barbecue sauce. As I mentioned before, I'm as picky as it gets when it comes to barbecue sauce. Dave's sweet barbecue sauce wins in all the categories for me. It's not overly sweet, which I appreciate. It's got nice tang, which I like. It's got some back-end heat to it, which I appreciate. It's got no liquid smoke, which is the best thing ever. You can tell Dave took the time and effort to craft and then bottle a quality sauce, not taking the easy way out like a lot of these people do. Grab a box of 6. It's going to go fast. How about shipping? Yeah, don't worry. You're not going to break the bank. How about this? Items totaling up to $55 ships at $8.50. Between $55 and $200, they ship at $9.75. Anything over $200 ships for free. What do I tell you each and every week? Do your shopping on the store. Buy over $200 worth of stuff. You're going to be happy that you did. There isn't one product that you're going to email me in private and go, hey, this product blows. You are a liar. Dave is just out for my money. It's not true. Dave's products are tested and tested and tested. Dave, does Levi use Butcher's Barbecue products in the Butcher's Barbecue stand, which, now, was it 90 days in, is going fabulously well from what I understand. Congratulations to Levi. Head on over to butcherbbq.com right now, won't you? Do me a favor. Do Dave a favor. butcherbbq.com. Hook up with all the products. Get the grilling oils going. If you haven't tried the grilling oils, try those. Come on. Get away from the blue bottle. Get to the grilling oils. Be a trendsetter. Don't be a follower. Don't be a lemming. Don't jump off the cliff like the rest of those schmucks. Get the grilling oil. butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. Always trust your butcher. And yes, they do use Butcher Barbecue products at the Butcher Barbecue stand. Of course. Come on. You got to be kidding. All right, we're back with Bruce Bjorkman, Mr. Barbecue, right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by iGrill. Yep, iGrill. Makers of the most advanced Bluetooth grilling thermometers, monitors the temperature of whatever you're grilling. Up to 150 feet away. What? Yeah, that's right. Up to 150 feet away. You can use it on your iOS or Android device. Here's the hint. Use promo code CENTRAL for 15% off your purchase at iDevicesinc.com. That is promo code CENTRAL for 15% off your purchase. And believe me, I have to tell you that indeed it is working now too, by the way. Had a little issue with that promo code. I called the folks at iGrill. We have it worked out, so all is well there. Don't worry. You'll get your 15% off because I know you love the deal, Central Lights. All right, let's race over to the hotline. He was a radio legend out there in the Pacific Northwest. He was spending time for years with Traeger, now with Mac Grills. You see him on this show every so often as well. Mr. Barbecue, Bruce Bjorkman. Bruce, how are you, buddy? Hello? Bruce? Hello? That's weird. That was right there, right? Bruce?
Your call has been completed.
What?
How you are calling is not receiving calls at this time.
You got to be kidding me. What? That's crazy. Now, hold on a damn minute. God, I have so many emails during the course of a day. It's hard to keep track. I thought I dialed that number. 5. Uh-oh. Did I not use the right one? Sounds good. 503, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's the one. All right, we'll try it again.
Calling does not accept unidentified calls.
Uh-oh.
If you are a solicitor, please hang up now.
I'm not.
To automatically unblock your name and number for this call only and complete the call, press 1.
Okay.
To enter the...
Wow. I got to figure out what the hell that is. That's great. How do I do that? Man, that'd be one. I would love to have that. Mr. Barbecue.
Mr. Rempe.
Hey-o! Okay, Bruce, so we have to forego barbecue talk just for about 30 seconds. Okay. What piece of software do you have on your phone that tells people to F off? That is spectacular, and I got to get it immediately.
I don't have anything like that.
You don't?
No.
I just called you, and it said this number doesn't recognize, and press 1 to keep going, and all this. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
I think you might have missed out, buddy.
No, I pressed 1, and then you got on the phone.
Get out of here.
I swear. Everybody was listening to what happened live over the air.
Wow.
All right.
I don't know what to say about that.
Let's hurry up and buy it. We'll make a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Let's hurry and do that.
I'm gonna have to call myself after we get done. I'm gonna have to call this number on my cell phone and see what the heck it says.
Yeah, that would be great.
Crazy.
All right, so Bruce Bjorkman joining me here with Mac Grills. Of course, the website Mac Grills, macgrills.com. And so let's talk about. Well, so I've been running kind of this ongoing segment on the show about pit makers, and if we have new people coming to the show, and or maybe they're kind of thinking about buying something new. So I want to get stick burners and pellet burners and charcoal grills and all this stuff in here. So obviously, Mac Grill is one of the foremost pellet grills out there on the market today, and perhaps we could do a little, investigating of Mac Grills and how they're made and why people would want to consider the Mac Grill over some of the other pellet cookers. That, I mean, look, you remember back in the day it was just Traeger and that was it. And
that
now,
was it, man. Back in
it has
the
exploded.
late 80s, early 90s, I mean, there was one and only brand of pellet grill in the world, and that was Traeger. Today, there are over 30 different brands of pellet grills on the market.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
So is it 30 brands and as many manufacturers, or are there some manufacturers making multiple brands, if that makes sense?
Yeah, in the case of, like, for example, Danson's out of Canada, they've got Louisiana, Country Smoker, and I think they also come out with a new model called the Pit Boss. So, yeah, there are some manufacturers that are making more than one line. The majority basically are just a one brand plate manufacturer.
So you're with Mac Grills. You spent a lot of time with Traeger. So as someone who has obviously intimate knowledge of what Traeger was like, and then you're over at Mac Grills now, how do you? I mean, is there any comparison and contrasting there, or is it all just contrasting?
Honestly, the Mac Grill is just so far superior to anything really else out there on the market, and I think I can say that very objectively, having been a pellet head myself since 1991. 24 years of basically exclusively cooking on pellet grills. And I've seen almost every single brand out there, not all of them, but I mean, holy smokes, more than probably 85 to 90% of them. And the thing that really sets Mac apart, number one, just the absolute build quality. I mean, my God, it is unreal how well engineered and designed they are, and how easy they are for people to assemble. We daily get new grill registrations from new grill owners, and that's one of the top comments that we hear all the time about, hey, this thing went together so well, there's no slop to it, built like a tank. We hear that all the time. And so I think that's one thing. The other thing is, hey, we are proud to be American made. And we wave that flag and honk that horn all the time, because when you buy a Mac Grill, you're not just supporting Mac Grills. You're also supporting the other companies that provide components for our grill. The auger motors, the auger, the control board, the nuts and screws and washers that go into it, the stainless steel that goes into it. All of those are American made and American manufacturers. So we're keeping more than just Mac Grill Americans employed. It goes out like you drop a pebble into a pond, that ripple effect that goes out through the economy.
Bruce, let me ask you something, and you well know this, having been in the industry. A lot of people, consumer-wise, will always talk. They talk a good American game. But when it comes down to dropping down the Benjamins, it seems like the guys that honk the loudest about All-American are the first ones to cheap out and go overseas and buy the cheap brand. Has there been any head-banging or battles that you have to overcome, or as we say in the sales world, objections that you have to overcome initially to get somebody into a Mac Grill or a higher-end American-made grill than you would for some of those other ones made overseas?
Well, I think the thing that you need to understand, Greg, is Mac Grills, we're not trying to appeal to every single segment of the consumer market. We are a high-end product. We're not inexpensive, and it's purposely that way because we don't cut corners. We only buy the best quality materials and components to go into our grills, and you can't have quality by cutting corners or doing it on the cheap. So, there are some people that say, hey, I'd love to own one, but I'm not going to pay that kind of money. All right, there's other choices out there for you to, go and choose from, and that's fine. I believe that a lot of the people that are buying the lesser expensive pellet grills is, in our minds, hey, that person is a future Mac Grills owner. So, yeah, there are some people that gripe about it, but the people that look at Mac Grill and look at the quality and the features it's got and how it operates, it more than justifies the expenditure, because you're only going to have to buy that grill one time in your lifetime and be done with it.
Bruce Bjorkman joining me here on the show, Mr. Barbecue for Mac Grills. MacGrills.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. Bruce, so let's go ahead and get into those features and benefits and what makes a Mac Grill indeed a Mac Grill.
Okay. Well, I think first and foremost is the controller, the Pellet Boss. It's got more features than you and I have fingers and toes. And we were the very, very first pellet grill manufacturer to come out with a grill that incorporated meat probes into the operation of the grill. Meat probes that you don't just stick in and they register the temperature. These are meat probes that you can actually set to alarm at a specific internal temperature. So that's one of the features of the Pellet Boss. The fact that you have elapsed cooking timers. When I do a long-term cook, as soon as I close down the lid on my Mac, I start my elapsed timer. It keeps track of how long my meat's been on the grill, how long I've been smoking it for or whatever. And so I don't have to use my 61-year-old memory to try and remember that stuff. It does it for me. There are customizable cooking programs that you can go in and set up. So maybe you love to do brisket all the time or pork shoulder or ribs or whatever. You can actually set that grill up to make temperature changes based either on time or meat probe temp, and you can do 5 temperature changes per each one of the 3 programs.
Wow.
So those are some of the things. Internal ash cleanout, removable stainless steel fire pot for easy cleaning. We eliminated the grease bucket. Now there's a 2-quart stainless steel grease drawer where the grease will run into. And then when it gets full, obviously you pull it out and empty it out. So those are some significant changes. And then the fact that we've also engineered our grills to run at plus or minus 10 degrees set point temperature. And for many of the people that own other brands of pellet grills, they're dealing with temperature swings of 25 to sometimes even up to 50 degrees. The Mac Grill is going to lock in at plus or minus 10 degrees of set point temperature. And that's better than the majority of home ovens that you can buy for your house.
Bruce Bjorkman joining me here on the show. Bruce, what about in regards to we'll get to that here in a second.
All right.
A lot of pellet grills will promote they can do it all. They're low and slow cookers. They can do medium range, and then they can get up to searing hot temperatures where you can do steaks, burgers, and dogs. A lot of those fall flat. A lot of them ultimately can't really push over 400 degrees because, they're just not set up that way, and they want to be everything to everybody, but in all reality, they're not. Does the Mac Grill fall into that situation as well?
No, it actually is able to get to searing temperatures up to 500 degrees. And on the 2-star General, which is our flagship model and our most popular model, we've got, as standard equipment, our Flame Zone direct cooking unit. This is a pan that has, for lack of any other better description, dimples in it. In the middle of that embossed dimple, there's a hole, and there's a whole series of these all the way across the cooking chamber. Well, when you want to grill, you can either raise the temperature to 450 or on high, which will kick it up to that 500-degree mark, somewhere between 450 and 500, and then you grill and sear directly over that flame zone. And I'll tell you what, going from a Traeger, where the highest temperature I ever got in all the models I ever had was like 435 degrees on a very hot August afternoon. With my Mac, and I could never get my steaks, I love ribeye steaks, and so you get that outer subcutaneous layer of fat, could never get it crunchy on a Traeger. On my Mac, that's not a problem. I can get that fat nice and crunchy, and it just makes me as happy as all can be. And Greg, searing starts at 350 degrees. And when I was doing my radio show, I called a couple of very well-known steakhouses and talked to them about what temperatures they seared their steaks. Ringside in Portland, where I'm going to go Thursday night for dinner with some friends, they sear their steaks at 475 degrees. I talked to another steakhouse over in Tri-Cities, Washington, and they sear their steaks at 400 degrees. And then they stick them into a salamander to finish off. So, people have this, I think, misconception that you've got to, if you're going to sear a steak or a chop or whatever, you've got to be at 900, 1,000, 1,800 degrees. And you know what? That's just not true.
Bruce Bjorkman joining me here on the show, MacGrills.com, the website. Bruce, as far as Mac's attack on the market, is it buying through dealers? Is it all online? Is it a mixture of both? How do you get the grills out to people?
It's a mixture of three spokes. Specialty retailers. We have 2 internet dealers. And then if you're in an area where you don't have a dealer anywhere around you, you can purchase directly from Mac.
What's your thought on, because I know there's different schools, right? One company might want to go as quickly as they could into big box stores, and one company might want to go into an Amazon.com or some kind of a only online retailer, and some guys just want to go through the specialty shop, the mom and pop fireplace and grill stores, and each one seems to have a good idea of why that way is the best. Sure. Is it best to have eggs dispersed all around, or would you rather, if possible, and maybe the culture that we're in doesn't make it possible anymore, but would you, if all things being equal, would you rather just go through the brick and mortar stores and educate the people that are selling them so then they can in turn educate the customers? Do you think that would be the ideal situation?
Well, for us, that's definitely the way to go because, again, we are a higher-end product. We like the Pellet Boss. Yeah, that needs some explaining and demonstrating to show people how unique and special it is. Like on the 2-star, we have the warmer smoker box. We need somebody that knows what that thing can do and how it's best used and what the benefits are for the grill owners. So, it's been our experience that we purposely limit internet sales because we want to help. And again, this is keeping Americans employed, getting people into the specialty retailer because they are specialists. And we are very particular about who is going to represent Mac Grills. I mean, we don't accept everybody that comes knocking on the door. We have a criteria, and we vet that potential dealer probably as much as they vet us. So, what I tell people all the time is we choose you as much as you choose us. And, some companies are in a rush to grow because they've got profit pressures on them and got to meet, quarterly dividend marks or gross sales figures or whatever. We tend to want to grow slow but steady. We're not in a big rush. We are not going to be ever a Traeger. We're never ever going to be like a Weber. That just doesn't appeal to us. We want to create a great pellet grill that does what we say it does and grow at a nice, controlled, steady rate because that way it keeps everything manageable and it definitely helps to reduce the headaches, compared to a company that's in a dead heat rush to get to market and expand their distribution and their sales, however which way they can do that.
Bruce, pulling it out at more of a higher level, I mean, as you'd said, you're cooking with wood pellets the last 24, 25 years. So as you look forward into the future, is this a way of cooking that is fad-driven, or do you see pellet grills being around in some form or fashion going forward in the long term?
Oh, I don't think it's a fad by any means. We're way past the niche fad scenario from the aspect that, back up until about 2006 when the Traeger patent expired, and then you saw Green Mountain in Louisiana jump into the market, and then it's just exploded from there. I mean, with 30 brands of pellet grills on the market, it's a category to be reckoned with. Do I think it's the future? Heck yeah, I do. I really do, because 90% of the people that buy a Mac pellet grill are replacing a gas grill with their Mac. And so what's that telling you? They're looking for more temperature control. They're looking for more flavor. They're looking for the ease and ability to both grill and smoke and cold smoke in the same unit. So I think that, and all of us in the industry, if you took the pellet grill category by itself, we probably maybe hit 2% of the market so far as penetration. So I think there's a huge, huge future and upside for pellet grills. You bet.
Let me ask you this question. It's purely speculation, but that's my job, and it's fun for you to answer, I'm sure. If let's say a Weber or a Char-Broil decided that they wanted to come into the pellet market, is it more likely that they would try and produce something that's cheap and kick it out there and think that they would be successful surviving on just the brand of Weber or Char-Broil, or do you think that they would come to a Mac Grill or a Green Mountain and say, hey, great job here, guys. Here's a check for $10 billion. We're just going to take it over here and put our name on it?
Any one of those scenarios is definitely possible. I mean, there's no way that you can guess, what's going to happen. I know that at one point, Traeger approached Weber years and years and years ago. And I'll tell you a little funny story behind that. The business manager at Traeger basically was responsible for dispersing mail. And in the stack of mail that I got one day, and all the mail was pre-opened. He didn't look at it, but they just slit the envelopes and stuff. But in the stack was an envelope from Weber. And it was a letter to Randy Traeger saying, we looked at your company and thanks for approaching us, but we're just not interested. Now that was probably early 2000s that I recall seeing that letter. I folded it up, put it back in the envelope, took it back to the business manager and said, this isn't mail for me. This needs to go to Randy. Anything's possible, Greg. There's always a potential that Weber might come into the market. But here's the thing that I tell people when they're asking me, well, what makes Mac different or whatever compared to this grill or that grill or whatever grill in the pellet category. And this is what I say. So let's say that let's just say for the heck of it that you own a Traeger grill, okay?
Yeah.
And I'll say, you know what, Greg? At night, when your Traeger grill is sleeping, it's dreaming of becoming a Mac grill. And years ago, I read David Ogilvy's book about advertising, and in it was a poem from Sir Anthony Gloucester. They copied all they could follow, but they couldn't copy our minds, and we left them sweating and stealing a year and a half behind. And that's basically our whole passion at Mac, is we will continue to be the innovators. We'll find ways to push the envelope so far as wood pellet grills are concerned. And I think that's one of the strongest things behind the Mac brand is the fact that we're dedicated. We've got an over-the-top passion for being innovators and bringing new things to the pellet grill category. So, am I worried about those other guys? No. Let them get out there. Let's expand the pellet market. Like I said, maybe 2% of the grill buying industry is pellet grills. There's an awful lot of growth potential that hasn't even been scratched yet.
Bruce, for 14 years, you were hosting Cooking Outdoors with Mr. Barbecue, and in May, you decided to turn the mic off and hang up the cans.
Yeah.
What's the precipitating event? Just enough time? I mean, you had a very successful run. You were syndicated up down the Pacific Northwest there. So, as a guy who isn't on any radio per se, other than sticking in his basement on the internet and wishing he could get syndicated like a Rush Limbaugh or whoever. What put the fire out?
Well, the fire didn't necessarily go out, but like I had mentioned earlier, I'm 61 years old, and giving up 14 years of basically working 6 days a week for 14 years with very few vacations or time off. I think in all the 14 years, maybe a half a dozen times when I wasn't live with the Fastest, Tastiest Hour on radio. And it just got to the point where, I'm not getting any younger, and my wife isn't getting any younger, and I'd sure like to spend some more time with her on the weekends because, hey, Greg, we never know when the hourglass is going to run out. The sand in the top of the hourglass is going to run out. So there were some things that were being discussed at Alpha, and I just decided, this would probably be a good time just to say thank you and goodbye, and that's what I did.
And it was a fabulous 14-year run on a radio show topic that you really just don't see anywhere around the country.
Right, but and I got to tell you, just this week alone, from like the weekend through today, actually from last Friday through today, there've been 5 people that I've spoken with who bemoan the fact that I'm not on the air on Saturdays. And I love doing the show. I had so much fun with it. I'm surprised as hell that they kept me on the air for 14 years because I wasn't your typical talk show host. I was like a bull in the china closet. When my mic went on, baby, I'm coming at you full bore. And we're playing the blues and rock and roll, and we are having fun for an hour. And and I'm very, very thankful and humbled by many of the people that have emailed and called and who I run into and said nice things about the show and everything. And Greg, look at you. I mean, here you are. You're carrying that mantle. You've been doing this for, 8 years now?
Yeah, 8 years almost.
And, and you've got a very, very solid reputation and very well known. And I think that's great because you are helping to spread the joy of doing great barbecue. And when you're passionate and you love what you do, you're going to be successful at it. And I think you're successful at what you're doing. You're just using a different platform, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. So, but there are probably, I don't know, easily 6 that come to mind, shows that are dedicated to barbecuing or grilling. And there may be even more of those, more than that I may, that I'm not aware of. So, it's something that's definitely growing.
Bruce Bjorkman is with Mac Grills. You can find him at macgrills.com. That's MAKgrills.com. Bruce, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Greg, thank you for having me, and you take care. Keep on smoking.
There he is. Bruce Bjorkman, Mr. Barbecue. And as I said, in May, he hung up the cans forever. I don't know if you ever had a chance to hear his show. I mean, that's like the blessing and the curse of real syndicated radio. If you are not in an area that the show is in, and sometimes the radio stations don't carry an online stream or whatever, but you can Google him probably and go back and check out his show. Definitely one that was a successful one for 14 years. So I'm not even, I'm just about halfway there. Think I can go another 7 years, everybody? Folks, if you didn't know already, Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue. Number one dealer of who? Mac pellet grills in the world. Big Papa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills, smokers such as the Old Hickory Ace BP, the Gateway Drum Smoker, even a drum kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship rubs. From flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending, their rubs have had a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition, including the 2012 and 13 American Royal, the World Series of Barbecue, the 12 and 14 Jack Daniels Invitational, the 13 Kingsford Challenge, the 14 Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and the 2014 King of the Smoker. Don't think that BPS can just be pigeonholed into competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known that they have been picked up by a nationwide restaurant chain, BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. With 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on their permanent menu, and amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs are proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry. Big Papa's also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these 2 California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa's website also features an online meat locker with top-quality meats from Snake River Farm shipped right to your door. From the American Kobe beef to the Caribou to pork, Double R Ranch big meats, Big Papa's Meat Locker has something for every type of barbecue aficionado, committed to bringing you the best barbecue flavors on the market. That's why they're carrying the new boys on the block, the Swamp Boy sauce, the Fine Swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce. These are the new kids on the block this season. Big Papa's also created the BPS Elite team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, Big Papa's has been able to do all this within only 5 years of being in business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, providing customers with the very best local products, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. Just the beginning for Big Papa Smokers and the website BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. All right, we're running a little late. We'll be back with Jared Hausengate from Insane Swine to recap the Sam's win. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big Name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Man-Grate. Man-Grate is the cast iron grilling grill grate made right here in America. Restaurants and pros use cast iron for a reason. Even heat conduction and retention with no hot spots. Man-Grate's patent pending. Design traps and evaporates oils and fats, resulting in reduced flare-ups and perfect sear marks each and every time. How about 25% off your next order? Use barbecue code BBQCEN for 25% off your purchase at mangrate.com. Grill like a pro with Man-Grate. All right, we follow the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour here on this show, and this past weekend they were in Scarborough, Maine, and winning the whole damn thing was the pitmaster of Insane Swine Barbecue, Jared Hausengate, joining us here on the show. Jared, how are you, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you, Greg?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Jared. I apologize for being late, but I was on the phone with Mr. Barbecue. Jealous much? So, Jared, before we get into kind of recapping this past weekend, for the folks that might not be as familiar with Insane Swine as the rest of us, or the folks just kind of tuning in for the first time tonight, a little background on you and how you got in the whole competition barbecue scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up around meat my whole life. My father owned a butcher store when I was young. I have the scars to prove it on my fingers when I worked at his butcher store when I was around 12 or 13 years old. And so I've been around meat my whole life. I've been around a lot of pig roasts out in Illinois where I grew up. So it's something that I've had a passion for a long time. When I moved out to New England, I found the New England Barbecue Society, and it kind of renewed my interest in barbecue. I became a judge first before I was a competitor. Judged for a couple of years, then in 2008 started to compete in a couple of contests and did horribly, like most of us do. It then kind of last a couple years. We've done between 10 and 15 contests, and that seems to be where the turning point happened about a few years ago.
Are you are you in the meat trade right now, or you do something completely different professionally?
No, I'm a market researcher by trade.
All right. So in regards to being a judge first before you got into competitions, and I've heard, the majority of guys that are here on this show that I'm talking to compete first, and then they decide at some point maybe some don't become a judge. Now, to me, and I don't compete, and there's a whole different reasons why I don't, but I love to talk to guys that do because it allows me to live out the fantasy of ESPN. Isn't it just common sense that if you're going to be a barbecue competitor, that you would go become a judge first and see what the judges are looking for to help give you a better chance to win?
Well, I'll say this. It really helped me. I know that. Judging for a couple of years and judge some of the best teams, really not only in New England, but in the world, in Smoking Hogs, Chris Hart, IQ, just having the opportunity to judge their food over the course of a couple of years really gave me the sense of what it is I should be doing in the competition world that is so much different than when you're cooking at home for friends and family. It's just a totally different world. So I that's the first thing I tell people when they are interested in competing for the first time. Hey, become a certified judge, judge a couple. It doesn't have to be 20 or 30 contests. Go judge a couple of contests and see what you should be cooking. And that really, to me, is one of the keys to success.
And that's like one of the more important things to figure out first is you're not going to be cooking the same thing for the judges that you would be cooking in the backyard. If you do that, you're pretty much going to be down towards the bottom.
That's right. And even though I was a judge before I started competing, like I said, I didn't end up dead-ass last in my first contest. Came pretty close. And my pork was next to last, I believe, because it was pretty much like dog food, what I turned in. It was chopped up, mushy, miserable junk. But you learn from that experience. And again, you judge a few more contests and you do a few more contests as a competitor. And you can really get into the groove of things. But really, when we first started, again, we were only doing maybe 2, 3, 5 contests a year. For us, it was really hard to have a lot of success doing that. Once we started doing more contests on a regular basis, that's really what made the big difference.
Jared Housengate joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Insane Swine Barbecue. How do you come up with the team name, Jared?
My wife and I basically we're the team, as a lot of teams are husband and wife teams. You can see who I call Freddie in the background here. That's our banner. We're both heavy metal fans, or we really were back in the day. Grew up in the 80s, early 90s. So this is a banner here that's based on Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind album. I call this guy Freddie in the background instead of Eddie. Just don't let the Iron Maiden people know. They haven't seen my banner yet, as far as I know. Don't want to get sued. But no, Insane Swine. It's kind of funny though, because we're not known as these insane, crazy people out on the barbecue circuit. I'm typically a fairly quiet guy. My wife is a little bit more social than I am, but both of us are kind of shy in general. So it's kind of odd to say that we're insane. We're probably the farthest away from that you could possibly be.
You had mentioned that your wife is part of the team, and do you guys? I mean, it's got to be kind of a weird dynamic, right? When you're part of. You're a team because you're a husband and wife and you're doing it day to day, but then you're a team out on the weekend and it's like competition. So is there ever that weird time when you guys get chippy with each other in competition and then, oh shit, I got to drive home with you and live with you also the rest of the week?
It's funny that you say that. A couple of times where we've actually had our best results in competitions is, we call it bickering. We bicker at each other. I wouldn't call it fighting because that would be a little bit too strong. But yeah, we won a double header in New Hampshire. So we did a grilling competition Saturday and the barbecue on Sunday. We swept that weekend, won both contests, and the grilling competition, we just had a horrible time. We were bickering at each other constantly the whole entire time, and we actually won. This past weekend in Maine, issue with the pork, and the wife actually had to talk me off the ledge a little bit because it was about 5 minutes to the end of turn-in window, and I was sitting there looking at the pork saying, this is a bunch of fucking shit. And she said, you got to put something in the box. You got to put something in the box. You got to put something in the box. And we're notoriously known as late turn-in people. We'll turn in with 30, 20, 15 seconds on a consistent basis.
Like, what's the, I mean, Why do you want to put yourself in that situation? I mean, 20 seconds go by, you trip, a pigeon shits in your eye. I mean, who knows what could happen? And then you've ran it so close to the clock's going to drop on the table, and now you're disqualified, and the whole contest is gone. I mean, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. It's not necessarily by design. My wife and I are both I would say perfectionists. We like the box to be as nice as possible, and by the same token, I'm a firm believer in that if you turn in cold food, even though the judges are not supposed to judge based on temperature of the meat, it does affect judging, I believe. So that's another reason. But really, we make people nervous. We make other competitors very nervous when we turn in so late. But we know what time it is. We have never missed a turn in. The only turn in that I shouldn't say never. We didn't turn in chicken during the beginning of our competition career because it was undercooked, and I wouldn't turn in undercooked chicken. But other than that, we've never missed a turn in. Even at World Food a couple of years ago when we turned in, I believe it was our pork or brisket. The TV show made it seem like someone else was turning in late, but it wasn't. That was not reality TV. We were actually turning in late. So we still had 20, 30 seconds. No big deal to us, but to other competitors, they tend to get really nervous about that.
Jared Housengate joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Insane Swine Barbecue. What are you drinking there, pal?
I am drinking a fine brew from Bissell Brothers in Portland, Maine. Big into the craft brew. This is Substance, and I'd like to thank Steve Eastridge from Meat at Slim's. Actually dropped this by our site after the competition was done, and he's a great guy, big into the craft brew scene. But this is a fine brew from Bissell Brothers.
All right, so this past weekend you're in Scarborough, Maine. You do the Sam's Club local. You take grand champion, so you're going to move on to the Richmond Regional. Overall, I would imagine, as you see your individual results, which we'll recap here quickly in a second, pretty good cook overall, all things considered, holding the pork, I guess?
Yeah, we can talk about the pork, but overall, everything was pretty good. The brisket was done ahead of time. Again, we can talk about that later, but overall, it was a pretty normal cook.
What do you cook on?
I cook on a Backwoods G2 Party, and I cook on a Humphreys Weeble and a Humphreys Lakeside Chicken Cooker. And I was listening to Bruce on the last segment, and you know what my cookers are out there thinking? My Humphreys and my Backwoods are out there thinking in my trailer right now. They're thinking when I go to bed, thank God I'm not a pellet cooker. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, touche. So are you? A lot of the guys that run the Backwoods and those vault style cookers are also running a Guru, of course, which I will always recommend, or some type of a draft control system. You do that too, and if so, who do you use?
I do not. I have a Guru sitting in my basement collecting dust. I don't have anything against Gurus. I don't mind when people use them, and pellet cookers too. I'm not against the people who use them, but I don't particularly think, especially with pellet cookers, I don't believe they have a place in competition barbecue. I think dialing up a number and punch and go is not something that I believe barbecue to be. But again, that's not a popular opinion, especially amongst a lot of my friends who use pellet cookers. And again, they're legal, so I can't fault them for using those types of cookers. But for me, I like the Backwoods, I like the Humphreys, I like charcoal, I like wood chunks, I like water cookers. I started out with a WSM, actually a few WSMs. So that's just what I prefer. And I don't prefer a draft system, getting back to your question, because I don't feel like I need it. I don't feel like some people think that a consistent temperature is necessary for good barbecue. I do not subscribe to that theory. I think ups and downs are fine as long as you know where you're at before turn-ins, well before turn-ins, and you get your meat done the way you want it to be done. I don't think anything between 180 and 250 is good for me anyway. As long as, again, I allow enough time and adjust the temperature appropriately.
All right, so let me follow up on a couple things you just mentioned there. So if you're not taking a dump on the guys that are using pellet cookers because, as you said, they're legal and certainly nobody can contest that, can the stick burner guy come over and then dump on you and going, well, you're just using charcoal and you throw a couple lit charcoals on top of there, you get it up to temperature, and I'm a real man and I'm throwing sticks in there every hour and 15 minutes. Like, where does the delineation line between who's doing it real and who isn't fall for you?
That's a great point, and they could very well dump on me, and I would be okay with that if they did that. Because another thing I don't want to own is a Jambo or a Lang or a stick burner of any type. It just doesn't appeal to me either. So yeah, they can definitely feel free to dump on me as much as they want. For me, the difference is really are electronics necessary? Are electronics not even just a guru? Are electronics an integral part of the build of that system? To me, that again, I can't say it's cheating, it's illegal, it's wrong, but for me personally, it's not my full barbecue is.
So as somebody that competes, and I would imagine would like to foster the continued success of the sport in general, and I'm going to go in a completely opposite direction here, wouldn't it make more sense for KCBS and FBA and all these other people to also open up cookers so like Southern Pride and Old Hickory gas pits can come in and somebody can, bring in their Samsung oven that they've jimmy rigged up to run off a 20-pound propane tank and just open competition barbecue up to everybody at this point? Because, look, not to be contradictory, but I agree with you. If you're going to run pellet cookers and you're going to have drafting systems that allow you to set a temperature and not institute your skill of fire management, I mean, what's the difference? Why not let the propane guys in at this point?
And I wouldn't have any problems with that either, because, again, if you're going to let pellet cookers in, you're going to let electronic cookers basically in already. What's the difference between that and an oven or a propane? In my mind, there's not much difference. Others will disagree, I'm sure. But no, I don't, if they're going to allow, I don't think you'd find a lot of people cooking on those types of cookers, personally, but maybe you would. I wouldn't have any issue with them allowing those, as long as they're going to allow gurus and pellet cookers anyway.
Jared Housengate joining me here on the show. Jared, all right, so let's get back to the competition. Sorry for the divergence there, but in regards to the individual categories, if you could kind of break them down quickly for me and what you thought about.
Sure. I'll give you the quick rundown. So chicken, we got first place in chicken. It was by far the best chicken that we've cooked this year. We've struggled a little bit with chicken. I've adjusted the injection and the rub for this cook, and it worked beautifully. I went from using 3 rubs to using 5 rubs on my chicken, which sounds like an insane amount of rub types, but it worked in this particular case. So really, really happy with the chicken. Hopefully we can duplicate it in Virginia.
Whose rubs are you using on chicken?
I'm using some stuff from Big Papa's. So I use Sweet Money.
Yep.
I also use Marvelous. I use Sweet Seduction. I use Smoking Guns. I use Little Lutin' Booties, and I use something else.
That's the secret one, huh? Can't let that one go. All right. So, yeah, that is 5. Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. So pork ribs were decent. They came in 6th. They didn't wow us. The flavor wasn't fantastic. They were good, but not fantastic. The tenderness was pretty spot on. Pork was overcooked. That was the issue that we had there with the pork. And I don't necessarily know why. I'm pretty sure I pulled it at the temperature it was supposed to be, but obviously something happened there with the pork where it was overdone. So I kind of struggled to get the 6 portions that I needed to get in that box. But it came in 9th, so I can't really complain with 4 top 10 calls.
Are you a guy that just turns in money muscle for pork, or do you do a bunch of other stuff?
I typically do money muscle and chunks. I don't typically do pulled or chopped. It's not something I've had great success with, but I do the money muscle and the chunk.
All right.
Brisket. I thought was again one of our best of the season. We got second in brisket by something like 0.0228 points. We came in second to Q&A men. So the brisket was fantastic. Can't complain about that. Brisket's been our strongest category this year.
You're injecting, obviously. Do you use a commercially made product, or something you whip up at home?
I trust my butcher.
All right, good for you. Who doesn't these days, for crying out loud? Good job, David. All right, so I would imagine, as they're going through the overall categories and they get down to the last 2 and you don't hear your name at reserve, do you think that there's just not any way that the next name isn't going to be yours?
Well, I didn't have any doubt. My wife is the pessimist. Suzanne never wants to really be let down, so she always believes that we're not going to get a call. But with a 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 9th, I was pretty sure we'd be in the top 6, which is what they call at Sam's at the locals. So once I got to reserve, I was thrilled, and Suzanne was really nervous. But I was, again, pretty sure that we were going to be in the top 6.
Is that a good win for you guys? You happy to win a Sam's Club local?
Absolutely. I actually think the locals are more challenging than the regionals, or just as challenging as the regionals, especially up here in New England. There's a ton of great teams, as they're all over the country, but a lot of great teams, a lot of great people at the Sam's local, and just a little luck was on our side too. I think we hit some good tables, and it's definitely a nice win.
Will you be going to the regional in Richmond, Virginia for sure on September 5th?
Yeah, we just signed up today. I know of a few teams in the top 6 that won't be going, but yeah, we're definitely going.
All right, and where are you going to be cooking at next year?
That will actually be our next contest. It'll be at the regional in Virginia.
All right, so you take a couple weeks off there to, you're going to be doing anything in the meantime, anything you're trying to dial in or hone in, or are you feeling pretty good about the program right now?
I'm feeling good about the SAMS program and the regular KCBS program. What we'll probably practice over the next couple of weeks is for the Jack. We got invited to the Jack again this year, so I need to do a little chicken practice for that.
All right, we are talking with Jared Housengay. He is the pitmaster of Insane Swine Barbecue. They won the Sam's Club local this past weekend in Scarborough, Maine, and will be going to their next competition in Richmond, Virginia for the Sam's Club regional final. Jared, really appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
You got it. There he is. Jared Housengay from Insane Swine Barbecue, if you are wondering. All right, I am obviously very late. Thanks for hanging with me here. I did let Kevin know that I was going to be running over here, so we're done here in a couple minutes. Let me talk to you quickly about Fast Eddie's by Cook Shack. Let's try this again. Let me talk to you quickly about the Cook Shack pellet grill and smokers. They're both. It's all in one. It's 100% stainless steel, wood-burning pellet-fired cooker that uses direct and indirect heat up to 800 degrees. It is the only pellet grill on the market that uses charbroiler technology. It features electronically controlled temperature to eliminate large heat fluctuations that dry and shrink meat. A pellet grill can barbecue, grill, bake, roast, sear, and smoke. Cook Shack has 2 models of pellet grills. The PG-1000 features a fully insulated double-wall roll hood for superior heat retention, fuel savings, and maximum cooking performance. The PG-500 features a 2-way swing lid, pellet drop, and utensil holder. The PG-500 and 1000 have many great features, including 784 square inches of cooking space, easy side-loading pellet hopper, fully automated wood pellet feed system, stainless steel cooking grate on the direct zone side, and a nickel-plated grill on the indirect and top racks. It's also got a drip bucket, a pellet ash drawer, 100% stainless steel construction, warming drawer, 40 pounds of Cook Shack hickory pellets, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It is a versatile pellet cooker that adds full flavor to your recipes, including fajitas, ribs, chicken, steaks, desserts, sides, and large meat cuts. It can do it all, including cold smoking. Grilling with wood pellets penetrates the food with an intense smoky flavor. When you cook with wood pellets, the fuel is consistent and the smoke more flavorful. For recipes and how-to videos, check out Cookshack's YouTube channel or the cooking guide on the website, pelletcooker.com. That's pelletcooker.com. Or cookshack.com. Or call them, 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. All right, we're back to wrap the show in seconds. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Ways Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots.
All right, thanks again to Jared Housengay. Out of the park home run for a first time in. Jared bringing it strong. Not afraid to vent out and shoot straight. That was great. We'll have him back on again for sure, sooner than later. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with barbecue and grilling legend Stephen Reichlin. BarbecueBible.com. ProjectSmoke.org. His 2 websites right now. Then we talked with Ernest Cervantes of Burnt Bean Company. BurntBeanCO.com. He's a barbecue television star right now. And he didn't say it, but allegedly, from what I can surmise, he might have something up his sleeve for another TV show. In the 10 o'clock hour, we talked with Bruce Bjorkman from Mac Grills, macgrills.com, makgrills.com. And coming out of the bullpen with Jared Housengate from Insane Swine Barbecue, talking about the Sam's Club as well as some other things in the general barbecue vicinity. Big show planned next week already, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is your program host, the proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.